Time now for everybody's favorite guessing game, What's My Line? Brought to you by Remington Rand, makers of the world's #1 electric shaver, the Remington. Now, let's all play What's My Line?
And now, let's meet our award-winning What's My Line panel. First, the popular Broadway columnist, Miss Dorothy Kilgallen.
Thank you. And on my left is a gentleman who has always just heard something excruciatingly funny from Arlene Francis, Mr. Fred Allen.
Until tonight, Dorothy. And on my left, ladies and gentlemen, a young lady who has been busy all week making her furniture photogenic because Ed Morrow is going to visit her on Person to Person next Friday night, Miss Arlene Francis.
Thank you, Fred. And on my left, the renowned Random House publisher of many bestsellers, including the American College Dictionary, Mr. Bennett Cerf.
On my left, a fabulous character who not only has won an Emmy for newscasting and a Kitty for panel moderating, but is the only man alive who can make firecrackers out of animals, Mr. John Daly.
Don't be bitter. Don't be bitter. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to What's My Line. Once again tonight, we've got some people who I think are of themselves interesting, and even more so because they're here tonight with some interesting occupations that I think are going to give the panel at least a good run for it tonight. We'll also have a famous guest challenger a bit later on, but right now I think it's time for our experts to meet the first challenger, whose job has to be spotted. So will you sign in, please? Virginia Hall.
Is it Miss or Mrs.?
Miss.
Miss Hall.
Mm-hmm.
Well, Miss Hall, where are you from?
I'm a native New Yorker.
A native New Yorker? Well, that's fine. Actually, that probably means that these folks over here should know a good deal about you almost immediately, but they would like to also get a better chance to see you. So would you take a small walk over there, please?
It's quite a hairdo, Miss Hall. Very nice.
Hello, Miss Hall.
Paul, how are you?
Do those bells ring?
All right.
Really? Oh.
Miss Hall, will you come
Ring
over?
the bell.
The men must curb their... Well, will you come over here and sit down with me, please? And, Miss Hall, I think perhaps you know that they get one free guess as to what your line may be. We begin the free guesses with Miss Kilgallen.
I think she's a dove dancer.
A dove dancer, Mr. Allen.
I think Miss Hall is a mambo consultant with Arthur Murray.
Ms. Francis.
I think she's an acrobat.
Mr. Cerf.
I think Miss Hall is New York's answer to Gino Lollobrigida.
That is probably true, but not the answer we're looking for, so we'll let our viewers at home have a further look at Miss Virginia Hall, and at the same time we will tell the viewers at home what Miss Hall's line is. But the panel will have to dig this all out of you one way or another. Now, would you tell me that you know how to score this, or do you want me to go into that long explanation which...
No, I think I know how.
You think, yeah, well, you don't have to look as though I might and use, well. All right, then, Miss Hall, we will tell the panel that you are salaried, and let's begin the general questioning with Fred Allen.
Miss Hall, do you deal in services, do you?
Yes.
Well, whenever I say to somebody, can I use your services, I'm generally in trouble. So tonight I think I'll change a little. Tell me, could John Daly possibly avail himself of your services?
Yes.
No laugh.
I gather it's not a funny occupation that you have. But if John did this, would it make him happy?
Yes.
Reasonably happy, huh?
It could.
It takes so little to make you happy, Jim. But now all I have to do is to find out what would make John happy, huh? A scoop on the Alta papers or something like that.
I'd like to have had that.
Well, tell me, well, you're so literate, John. Is there anything educational involved in what you do? Can you
Gotta
learn
have
something?
a conference, that's all there is to it.
pretty sticky conferences, John. He looks like Goebbels when he talks to the...
All right, Miss Hall and I have consulted on this matter, Mr. Allen, and we want to be completely fair about it, so
I
we're
hope
just going
so.
to give you a big flat no. That makes it 1 down, 9 to go, Miss Francis.
Do people come to you or to see you in your work?
Yes.
Sometimes, I would say.
Do you work indoors?
Sometimes.
Is there any product whatsoever involved in what you do?
No.
2 down and 8 to go, Mr. Sir.
Miss Hall, do the people who come to you go away knowing something they hadn't known before they came?
Well, I would say this, that here's an area, Bennett, if Miss Hall will let me answer this, where people could come to Miss Hall specifically inquiring for information, help of some kind or the other. To that degree, they would have information that was not previously theirs.
Absolutely clear. Miss Hall, I just have a hunch you work for a non-profit-making organization. Am I right or wrong?
No.
I'm
Miss
wrong.
Hall does not work for a non-profit-making organization. 3 down and 7 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
You say you work indoors sometimes. Does that mean that you could work sometimes not indoors?
There, I would say it here again, if I may intrude, so there's no doubt about it. I would think that Miss Hall would agree that substantially she works indoors, but we cannot rule out the possibility that her work might take her out of doors.
Might your work take you into some costume quite different from what you're wearing now?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Mr. Allen.
Well, do people come to you for your services?
That, I believe, has been asked before, and the question could be answered properly sometimes.
Or was that the same answer as the other time, too?
I think so.
I thought I might be gaining on you, John. I just wanted to make sure. But do you wear a costume of any nature when you perform your services?
No.
No.
You don't.
That's 5 down and 5 to go, Miss Francis.
Do your striking looks have anything to do with your job?
No.
6 down and 4 to go, Mr. Cerf.
Too bad.
Has your work got anything whatever, Miss Hall, to do with the entertainment business?
No.
7 down and 3 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
You sound like you're finishing me off before I've said a word. Do both men and women enjoy your services or obtain your services?
Yes.
Are they adults?
Yes.
Are they human beings?
Yes.
May I take it that your work has nothing to do with animals at all?
Yes.
What is that expression on your face, John?
Got a toothache, Dorothy, right over here.
Do you move about in your work when you're working?
Move about in your work when you're working?
Can you do your work standing up?
Yes.
Can you do it sitting down?
Yes.
Sometimes, yeah.
Is there any other way of doing it besides? Mattress testers on this program.
That's right. No, I know what you have in mind, and if your question is specifically pointed to finding out whether, for instance, Miss
just
Hall
want to
could
find
be a
out
mechanic
something.
and get under a car or something like
Yes.
that, the answer would be no. So that would be 8 down and 2 to go, Mr. Allen.
Do you touch the people when they come to you?
Sometimes.
Do you touch them externally? You could be a tonsil tester. I mean, you could Is there any, it was established there is no product involved, isn't it?
That's right. That's been established.
There is no product. You don't tell fortunes by any chance, do you?
No.
It's a shame. I'd like to know where I'm going from here.
All right, that's 9 down and 1 to go, Miss Francis.
Do you use your hands in your work?
Sometimes.
Do you have to have training for the job that you have?
Yes.
No, I'm going to give you a no on that because not in the specific terms of reference that are familiar to us on this program.
I
It's
didn't
not
say
that kind
formal
of-
training,
Yes,
John.
I know, but you said training.
Oh,
And that's the last
you're
one. And
getting
I
rough.
want all of you to be real happy and meet Miss Virginia Hall, who is the house detective at the Great Northern Hotel. Miss Hall, thank you very much. We
I
had a
thought
really
you
nice
said there
time
was
and-
no entertainment involved in her work.
That's right. Good to see you, man. All right, panel, let's see what you can do with the second challenger. Will you come in and sign in, please, sir? B.M. Bryan, is that right, sir? And, Mr. Bryan, where are you from?
Alexandria, Louisiana.
Alexandria, Louisiana. Well, we
That's
haven't
right.
had anybody from that far south for a long time. It's nice to have you here, and may I ask you to take a quick walk down in front of the panel?
How are you, Mr. Bryan?
Glad to know you, Mr. Bryan.
Thank you.
And now over here, if you will, please, sir, and sit down next to me. And I think perhaps you know the panel gets one free guess, which we will begin with Miss Kilgallen.
I think you run some kind of a ranch.
Some kind of a ranch. Mr. Allen.
I think that he's a diction teacher for parrots who are in southern pet shops.
Miss Francis.
I think he raises pecans.
Mr. Sir.
I think Mr. Bryan would walk a mile for a camellia.
No, nobody has it. We'll let our viewers have a further look at Mr. Bryan. At the same time, we will tell them what his line is. But, panel, you're going to have to work again. All right. You know, Mr. Bryan, how we score this operation?
I do.
Fine. Then we will just announce that Mr. Bryan is salaried and begin the general questioning with Miss Kilgallen.
Mr. Bryan, do you deal with people in your work?
Yes.
You deal in services?
Yes.
Are people better off or happier because of what you do?
Yes, ma'am.
They are. Are they people of both sexes?
No, ma'am.
1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Allen.
Your activities are confined to one sex.
Yes.
Am I a member of the sex?
I didn't understand.
Am I a member of that sex? As far as we know.
Yes.
I'm going to seek new employment shortly. I don't know who I am anymore. But is there a product involved in what you do?
No,
There
sir.
is no product.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Francis.
Mr. Bryan, do you have anything to do with the sports world?
Yes.
Are you engaged in any particular sport in some manner?
No.
3 down and 7 to go, and I would just say that that was a very general area of questioning and properly answered yes, but do not take too much from it, Mr. Sir.
What?
That's what I love when they come back and say, why?
Mr. Bryan, do you do your work in Louisiana?
No.
4 down and 6 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Do you travel from place to place because of your work?
No.
5
You're
down
not home and you're not away.
I didn't understand.
You're not home and you're not away. I just want that clarified for Fred.
No, actually, the question...
It won't help me, Dorothy. Nothing will help me. Do you look to be sort of an outdoor man? Oh, pardon me, were you through?
Yes.
Just wait.
Dorothy was.
I get through so fast, John, I lap over. I don't know. I'm like Mr. Dulles. I'm here and gone before you know it. But you're not confined to any one sport in your activity? I mean,
I'm
like
not.
baseball. You have nothing to
No.
do.
I'm
Yes.
not confined to any one sport.
I see. Thank you very much.
Yes, Mr. Bryan is not, so you go ahead.
Oh, I'm still active, huh?
Yes, still active.
And you don't travel around? You don't travel around to...
No, that has already been ascertained. The question as to travel has been answered in the
I wanted
negative.
to confirm it because you muddy things up, John.
It is hereby confirmed.
I'm just like Esther Williams overdoing it. The whole thing is muddy as far as I'm concerned. You don't do newspaper work.
No, sir.
No. 6 down and 4
That's
to
not
go,
bad.
and I'm going to give you one more minute to see if you can get this.
Would you be a supervisor or in charge of any organization that has to do with sports? I mean, for example, the Olympics or anything like that. Would you have anything to do with that kind of an organization?
No, ma'am.
7 down and 3 to go, Mr. Cerf.
I am still trying to find out where you do this work, Mr. Bryan. It's not in Louisiana, it's not home, it's not away. Do you ever do any work around the nation's capital, around Washington?
No.
I mean, to the degree that, we all
He's an
might...
invisible man. I can't...
No, actually, you see, I asked Mr. Bryan where he was from, and he told you where he was from. Now, you have to assume that this is a from place rather than a present.
Is he doing his work now as he sits here?
I tell you what, I'll flip it, and I would like to have the panel with me enjoy meeting Lieutenant General Blackshear M. Bryan, Superintendent of the Military Academy of the United States of America.
Oh, no.
And I just wish that there was among us a very fine talent for singing, because actually we are here, in a way, given an opportunity to celebrate something that I know is very close to General Bryan's heart, and that is the 153rd anniversary of West Point, which was on March 16th.
I was just there.
That's right, Arlene was there.
Yes,
So-
you were there.
You were all dressed up.
You were
Mr.
there, and I
Bryan.
saw you, and I met you.
General, General, is it true that you gave her your uniform?
Well, I don't think it would fit, sir.
But this was wonderful fun, because we knew Arlene had been involved in all of the anniversary thing, but we just thought if we got General to come and visit us and put him in mufti, as they say in military circles, we could probably fool you.
Isn't fair to us either. We weren't even up there.
Well, General, I must say, sir, it's been wonderful to have such a distinguished visitor, and to you, many happy years up at West Point.
Thank you very much.
And in just a moment, we'll meet tonight's mystery guest, but first, here's Dick Stark for Remington Rand.
I always get a big kick out of picking up a magazine or newspaper and finding an amusing reference to our peach and brush demonstration. Like this one right here. Now, this is a cartoon by Bill Keene of the Register and Tribune Syndicate. And Mom is saying, let's see what she's saying there. She's saying, he says he just shaving peaches and brushes like they do on television. Well, all right, Bill. We have no desire to contribute to peach and brush delinquency, but I must confess we're rather flattered by all that attention. I want you to know something else, too. We are not fooling when we shave this peach with the Remington electric shaver, because we believe this is the most convincing proof of the fact that the Remington shave is a comfortable shave. Will you join me? I'm going to shave one right now. You watch this. By the way, I'm going to remove this guard so that you can actually see the fuzz fall. All right? We plug it in, and away we go. You see that fuzz fall? Now, look, there certainly is no skin that is more tender than the skin of a peach. Isn't that right? All right, that Remington electric shaver is shaving that peach until it's as smooth as an apple. That's how gentle it is, and yet it's never going to harm that tender skin. How about that? You see that? Now, that is proof that the Remington shave is a comfortable shave, and it'll give you a comfortable shave no matter how tender your skin. Just as shaving a brush is proof that this powerful man-sized Remington will take the bristles off a brush faster than you can say it. You know that? And it'll give you a fast, clean, easy shave. And I don't guess you have a beard that's as tough as the bristles on that brush. Well, I'm not going to take the time to take that right down to the nubbin, but I think we can sum it all up by telling you this, and it's a fact. The Remington shave is everything you could possibly want in a shave. And I wish you'd prove that for yourself. You can, you know. You just stop in and pick up a Remington on the 14-day free trial plan. That's offered by most dealers. Will you do that? Give yourself the one shave that's fast, clean, comfortable, and easy. Give yourself the Remington shave.
And now we come to the special feature of our program, the appearance of our mystery celebrity, for which my friends and colleagues are blindfolded. Are those blindfolds all in place, panel?
Yes,
Good.
sir.
Will you come in, mystery challenger, and sign in, please? All right. Panel, as you know, in the case of our mystery challenger, we get right down to the general questioning, which we will begin with Arlene Francis.
Well, are you used to appearing before audiences?
Yes, I am.
You're an actress?
Yes, I am an actress.
Jolly good. Have you been in motion pictures?
Yes, I have been in motion pictures
Are you a leading woman?
most of the time. Some of the time.
Sometimes you're leading and sometimes you're following?
Yes.
Would you be considered a character actress?
Well,
I don't,
Mr. Daly.
I don't think so. I think we'll have to give a no on that. 1 down and 9 to go, Mr. Sir.
Have you ever been associated in the public mind with that wonderful quality called oomph?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Cerf, just what are you
Down,
referring
John.
to?
You know what I mean?
Well, sometimes.
It can't be. It can't be. Are you a girl who is temporarily disassociated from Hollywood?
Well, yes. Yes, I am.
You're trying to sound like somebody that you're not. Am I correct in my assumption that you are not Marilyn Monroe?
You are correct.
But are you a girl that sometimes can elicit the same kind of whistles and ejaculations?
I would say an entirely different way if I do.
I would think the answer to the question would be yes, Bennett.
Have you ever been groomed to possibly replace Miss Monroe in some pictures that she decided she didn't want to do?
No, I never have been groomed to replace her. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
2 down and 8 to go, Miss Kilgallen.
Well, as a matter of fact, are you quite a different type, actually?
I would say I was really quite a different type from her.
You're associated with the movies we've established. Have you ever been on the stage?
Yes, I have.
Now, I would ask here, Dorothy, would you please specify more closely exactly what you mean by stage? You mean the Broadway stage? If you do, we'd like the question posed on that basis.
I'd like to leave it open.
You got it.
Have you appeared on any stage in New York City?
No, I never have been on the stage in New York City.
Then you haven't really been on the stage.
3 down and 7 to go, Mr. Allen.
It's a very provincial.
Do you sing
I have sung,
by appointment?
not in pictures.
You've never sung in pictures?
No, I haven't.
Have you engaged in any aquatic sports in pictures?
We had her.
Well, there must be other people in the water in California. People are falling in the pools constantly
I
out
would
there.
I would say quite definitely to the question, if you don't mind.
What was that?
I beg
I
you?
would say quite definitely to the
You're
question.
sounding like
Yes, I
John
have.
now.
You got a yes answer,
Yes,
Fred.
I have.
You have been seen in the water.
Yes, I have.
I pass.
Miss Francis,
I never look in the water, so naturally I wouldn't come across you.
we have only 3 minutes to go.
Oh.
More than I
We're
need.
going to need more.
Now, wait a minute. But you're not primarily an aquatic performer.
No, I'm not.
No. Do you dance?
Yes, I do.
Have you danced in pictures?
In my last one.
In your last one, I say. Make it in Dublin, did you?
Honey, child, I don't believe so.
But you do not primarily appear in musical pictures?
No, I haven't.
You don't, huh?
No, I don't.
All these are yes but no answers.
Yes, but no.
Mhm.
Are you, would you be considered an ingenue rather than a leading woman? I mean, are you...
You're an American citizen, aren't you?
and a vegetarian?
I think I know.
I would think
You
in
do? I'll
that
give it to
general
you.
area,
No.
moving back and forth, right?
But
Bennett is beginning to sense something, which is nice of Bennett. I'm going to pass it to him and let him go through
All
with
right,
it.
Bennett, sir, and we have very little time, about
That
a minute
is-
and a half.
I think I've
Bennett.
almost moved. I think I've moved out of the ingenue roles now.
What was that?
I didn't hear that.
I think I've moved out of the ingenue roles.
All right, Bennett, you proceed with it because we're going to have to cut off the
I
question.
have a feeling this is sort of a military evening. We had the head of West Point. Have you ever entertained the troops at any part of the world?
Yes.
Did you wear a very spectacular costume at that time?
Hit it, Bennett.
Terry Moore.
Terry Moore is right. Miss Terry Moore is right, and Miss Terry, I'm sorry that this evening seems to have gone so rapidly. We would like to have a chance to talk to you a lot more, but what brought you to New York?
Well, I came in for the wonderful premiere of the new CinemaScope 20th Century Fox picture, Man Called Peter, which opens, I believe, next Thursday at the Roxy Theater here in New York.
Yes, we've heard a great deal about that picture, and I do believe I also read in the papers you're going to be on the United States Steel Hour.
Yes, I'll be on that a week from Tuesday in a new original play called One Little Room.
Well, I read you were coming for that, and I must admit to some surprise to find you here so early myself, so I think we gave the panel a rough time. Thanks very much for being our guest, and would you say farewell to the panel?
I
It'd be
certainly
nice
will.
To have
Thank
you.
you.
With us.
Wonderful
Very
to be
nice.
here.
Good.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to see you. And panel, I must congratulate you. We gave you a little rough time there for a bit.
What are you congratulating us for?
Well, actually, because I didn't.
still here.
I didn't think that you were going to get Terry Moore. The only thing I knew about was the U.S. Steel thing. I thought you'd figure that was too early for her to be in New York, as I said. So you get some congratulations. We'll be back in just a moment. But first, here's Dick Stark with a word from Remington Rand.
The word convey filer, the Remington Rand electrically powered card file. The finding, posting, and filing operation takes only seconds. Operator fatigue is minimized because positive foot pedal control brings the card trays to the operator. Thus, a high level of accuracy and production is maintained. Convey filer units hold up to 200,000 indexed cards. Remington Rand Convey Filer, a product of Remington Rand. Famous, too, for the Remington 60 Deluxe, the world's #1 electric shaver.
Now, before our panel says good night, may I remind you to tune in again next Sunday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, when once again we invite you to play What's My Line. For other localities, please check your local listings for the date and time of our weekly series.
Yes, more and more and more and more people are switching to Stop-Et spray deodorant. Because Stop-Et, with its anti-immunity factor, is now more effective than ever. Thanks to this anti-immunity factor, when you use Stop-Et daily, you get full effectiveness day after day. It never lets you down like this. So switch to Stop-Et spray deodorant. Just one squeeze of its famous plexoplastic bottle and poof. There goes perspiration.
And now, until next week, this is John Daly saying good night, Miss Dorothy.
Good night, General. Good night, Fred.
Good night, Dorothy. And Arlene, if I look like Wally Cox next week, don't be surprised. I'll be out. Good night,
We'll
Arlene.
miss you. Good night. Fred and Bennett, give my love to all the Remington Rand people in Philadelphia. Good night.
We may have another general there. Good night, John.
Good night, Bennett. You're not still bitter, are you? Well, no. Good night, ladies and gentlemen, and thanks for being with us on What's My Line?
Transportation for What's My Line is arranged through American Airlines. American Airlines, the country's leading airline, now serving the United States, Mexico, and Canada. This has been a Mark Goodson, Bill Codman production in association with the CBS Television Network.